Hey guys, it's Max. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the first edition of my new show. So we're going to do a Yield Max update. So I'm going to do Defiance in the morning and evening and Yield Max, midday. And it's a little bit later than I intended on. Now, this brings me to my next subject. I was watching Happy Camper with Dividends. There's like 25 Yield Max stocks now. I can't keep up with all of them. If you want to know exactly what's going on at all times to the penny, this is the most amazing report that she does. I can't even begin to tell you how amazing this is. Anyway, what I do is after I make my report, I'll go check it against hers for accuracy. So I was making sure I had the same thing she had on Tesley. So anyway, let's look into this. So now when I say we're covering Yield Max, what I should say is recovering the Yield Max funds that I want to cover. I don't know. I don't cover all of them. I may in the future. I cover for the four most actively traded ones, and I may add some in the future. But we look at charts of a lot of them. Lots of times we'll talk about all the underlines maybe, but we'll look at the option positions just on what I call the four basic ones: Tesley, Nvidia, Coney, and Misty. Okay. So here's another week for Tesley. It's already Monday and they've already got their strike price blown out. These guys sold the 185 and we're trading at, above 185 right now. The market is ripping right now. It's great for bulls, but these guys probably wish they would have sold the 190. But here's the thing I think that a lot of people miss when they gripe about strike selections. Next time you gripe about the strike selection, go look at Tesla's option chain and see what their choices were. And what do you want to bet? And I just know this because I've done it so many times. What do you want to bet that the 185, Jay always talks about meeting his bogey. So they have a certain amount of premium they're trying to capture. I think it's 1% a week. And that's a pretty good goal. You make 1% a week, that's 50% a year. It's not a bad place to start for returns on a volatile stock. So here's what I'm going to say, and maybe next week I'll show this to you in real time. Next time they put out a trade in real life, they have a choice between the 185 and the 190. The 190 didn't pay shit. I hate to tell you. That's why I know everyone wants some more. Everyone says, well, just roll it out to 190, and I don't care if it doesn't pay shit. I want the upside. But I'm talking. The problem with that theory is if Jay started doing stuff like that, I mean, you wouldn't get any buffer. It would, he's not going to do it because it's not the goal of the fund. But there are other funds that go for just the prioritize upside, like iSpy. iSpy gets, if you want upside, get iSpy. But the Yield Max ones, they're going for yield. I mean, so anyway, I'm just saying whenever they make these ones that are too close, or sometimes when they go in the money, I really think that they just literally didn't have enough. I promise you, no one wants to sell in at the money option except for Global X. And they have it built into their prospectus. And I just don't get why they haven't changed their prospectus after all the freaking studies that have been out and all the knowledge we have. And the best practices at this point for managing covered calls is out of the money. Most everyone would agree on that. I think I know why they do it, but it doesn't even, here's the problem. Here's my problem with the XYLD fund is at the money is supposed to provide more buffer. It doesn't even look to me like XYLD provides that much more buffer. I'd rather take my chances with JetI or JetQ. All right. So Nvidia, they have two strikes. They haven't blown them out yet. That's good. Probably by tomorrow morning, we'll be up here trading about 145. Look at these open gaps. There's an open gap right there that was never filled. It was partly filled, but then there's an open gap right here, a bullish gap. There may be one tomorrow morning. Who knows? Maybe not. All right. I was hearing a funny sound. What was? I don't know. All right. What else do we have? Let's check out a little Coinbase, which, of course, the yield fund's name is Coney. Now, this is face ripping. Something's going on with this thing today. I mean, a face rip just today from all the way under the Bollinger Bands to on top of the Bollinger Bands. When you can get on top of the Bollinger Bands, like right here, that's when trends can start, like it did right there. It looks like it's already too high, but So there's sometimes it's the right thing to do to buy high and sell higher. That's counterintuitive to a lot of people. And then there's sometimes like here when it gets above the Bollinger Bands and it turns out to be a fake out. So I don't know. I'm thinking this one turns into something. I'm thinking by the end of the week. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's see if Bitcoin's moving too. Anyway, you got, yeah, of course. That's why this is up. You could imagine what Misty's going to be doing. Misty. Yeah, we looked at Coney, which was ripping. Now we're looking at Mr., which is also ripping. Okay, these guys have three strikes. Their strike prices are so close, they kind of overlapped. They have the 1605, the 1610, and the 1715. So everyone's in good shape. No one's capped. Everyone has plenty of room for upside on these stocks. Let's maybe just look at some of the other yield max underlines. Did we check out Tesla? We didn't check out Tesla. Oh, we did check out Tesla. The reason I didn't think we checked it out is because I forgot to put Crash's profit box on here. But I can tell you where it is. I don't need to look. I don't need to look. So they sold this one last week. That's the 170. And when did they sell that? They sold that when the market was there. So it was about 6 points below where the market was. So the market closed on Friday here at 178. They probably sold the 172.50 this time. So I'm not even going to look. We're just going to put it on there and we're going to call it good. I'll check later, but I guarantee that's what it is. Maybe they got the 175. Who knows? We'll check later. I just want to have the visual on here so we can see if it's capped. Now, of course, the red profit boxes are for crash or crush. I think it's crash, but all right. So, and it's a bearish covered calls. It's a bearish covered put strategy. So anyway, max profit for crash is right here, right at the strike price. All right. All right. So we checked out all of them now. Let's just check out some other ones. Anyone have any GUI? See, it would look like it was trying to start a trend, and now it looks like maybe it's trying to say it was a fake out. We'll see. What do you guys think? The beginning of a new trend that these stocks are doing, or a fake out? I'm saying new trend, but it's because the stocks follow this lots of times. Let's go out. They follow Bitcoin a lot. In the old days, I used to look at the dollar yen. There's all kinds of things you can look at. None of them work perfect, but some of them give you good ideas. We used to look at this one all the time when we were trading this bull wedge. Boy, that was the perfect breakout and retest. I didn't redraw that line. That line I happened to nail it on that line. It's easy to draw them with the benefits of hindsight, but I drew that one in real time. Okay, well, this thing just needs to break out. In the bigger scheme of things, yeah, maybe it's turned around and going back up for today, but it needs to get on the daily ones, need to get on top of their Bollinger Bands and establish a trend. Like back here, and not like right here or right here. But sometimes you have to have a couple of right heres and right heres before you get a right here, before you get the big trend you're looking for. So I think surely we're going to break out of this trading range on the upside. Surely we won't break out of this trading range on the downside. Well, that would be bad if we broke out on the downside. If we get under 57, I would say here comes 37 or at least 47. But in any event, I'd really like to see us get up here above 74,000, get established, maybe go for the even number, go for 100,000. We're about to hit the even number in NASDAQ. You guys see that? Even number's 20,000, of course. Have we hit it today? The high for the day is Nope, we got 19,977 and 84 cents. So what is that? That's 22.16. $22 or not dollars, I guess 22.16 NASDAQ points to 20,000. Man, I remember when I first started being an influencer back right around the first of the year, and people were saying that we were going to get, I don't know. There was people were saying that we were going to crash and that we're getting a recession and everything. And we might still, but it's, I hope everyone stayed invested because, man, it's been a face ripper. All right, guys. Well, let's look at a few more of these. Here's an AMD chart. We don't follow the profit boxes on that yet. I may add AMD or Amazon. Put it in the comments, and I'll add whichever one you guys vote on. Amazon or AMD's next, and we'll start looking at profit boxes on those. All right, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you later.